Hi, we're back again. So to continue our talk on the debates on the RH bill, we have with us again Attorney Dindo Garciano, and we have with us in the panel now Ms. Batista Soro, who has joined. And so we'd like to continue on. Maybe, do you think the RH bill can be fashionable?
Well, in a
But
sense,
really,
in a sense,
in a sense,
in
yeah.
a sense.
But really, actually, the RH bill has come into play because maybe of the alarming rate of the population growth, and maybe the quality of the population that has come about. And if we look into the quality or the kind of Filipino race that we are trying to promote or control, we would also like to, delve deeper into the root cause of this. We would like to investigate if actually the proponents of the bill are really competent enough, or even if they are competent educationally, do they have the proper discernment to be able to craft such an important bill? Because this, takes consideration that laws are emanating from God, and it's not just a law that is, just to be able to um, to come up with laws that are man-made.
That's a very very interesting point that you said,
Yeah,
that laws come from God, no? Because that was the statement of the vice presidential pick of Governor Romney, no, for the U.S. elections, Congressman Ryan,
Yes, because
and he
everything
was
is,
quoted
yes,
as saying as our laws comes from nature and God, not
of
from
course,
government.
yes, right.
So
So
that
if
was a very
yeah, if you follow the universal laws of nature, everything is in order. And
yeah.
if you just go anywhere against it, or if you don't follow the normal pathway, then that's where chaos comes in, right? And of course, remedies like you said, like the RH bill come into play. And but if we empower legislators who are to begin with questionable, because with a history or a track record of having their own, for instance, you just investigate into their own families, you will find out that they have not come out with an ideal family setup. Maybe they have propagated less than normal children, or maybe they have, um, had a family life that is not as ideal, and it's chaotic. So why would the Filipinos empower legislators in that committee? So that may be a reason why, their discernment, even if they are intelligent, but their discerning powers are not enough to be able to, justify why they are crafting such a bill and allocating budgets that are horrendous when in fact there are other priorities.
Yeah,
So
Ms. Patis
would you like to,
mentioned some very important, well, a very
very important
interesting,
things,
interesting point
points?
when she was explaining her creation, no? The laborers, okay?
Correct.
If you give the laborers
If you're able
work,
to
then
educate and
work
yes,
is the big
it's the bottom line.
is the most effective contraceptive. Work, you
Yes.
know, give them work, okay? Give
Work
people work.
in the proper perspective, of course,
Yeah.
work as in following, the universally accepted work ethics. If they follow the natural laws that they propagate, they propagate whatever their gifts are, and then they utilize their skills. So what do you think, Ms. Patis, about this? Can it be fashionable to go against or to go for it?
It's always fashionable. I mean, fashion is either I like the dress or I like this and I don't like that. But I think this topic goes deeper than that. It addresses life. It addresses decisions concerning life. And, well, if you read Stephen Hawkins, he doesn't believe in any of this, you know. So I read a little bit of him. He's pretty deep. But it begs the question of what you're trying to say here is man does not, cannot, should not decide on who lives. Yeah.
And who dies?
And, well, die, man can decide because there's always shooting and stuff like that. But this is what you're trying to say, you know. We cannot decide on who lives, or that's the issue, right? I'm believe that it addresses only the prevention of having a life, of making life when you're not prepared. So you're giving whatever life is going to come a chance, I think.
Viability.
Yeah. What
That's
do you?
right.
What are your thoughts about? Because there is always a God-given way, you know, a natural way. There is a natural abortion. If the child conceived is not normal enough, then the child will not reach full term. Or if, for instance, you force the pregnancy up to full term and you force to deliver a child, still the child will not survive. I'm sure he, just like what Senator Soto has talked about in his speech, because the wife has been taking birth control pills, so the effect, the downside there was that they have had an abnormal child with with heart disease and some blood transfusions every now and then. So it's God's way of sort of cleansing out. If you did not follow through the normal way, then you don't survive.
Yeah,
So
but
I believe-
the problem with that argument kasi is primarily when Senator Soto delivered that particular speech, it was his personal experience that he was expounding upon. However, not just empirical evidence, we're talking about scientific evidence na as a medical practitioner and a doctor myself, there is no, as Senator Pia Cayetano on the other hand already stated, there is no correlation between the use of contraceptives and what happened to Senator Soto's son. It was mainly those doctors placating the good senator about something that happened and placating him and comforting him because of his loss. However, I'd like to direct it back to our guests right now. Na from Ms. Patis Tesoro's perspective, she had personal experiences also that she believes, as I do, that is addressed by the RH bill. Whereas on the supply side, on the other side, Attorney Garciano Dindo wanted to address a policy side, which is on the other side of the coin. Now, could you narrate to us what the particular thing that happened to your maids
Yes,
that
well-
you think would be addressed by an RH bill?
Well, I think education is very important. Okay, so if this RH bill will address that, that's the best. Prevention, education is information. So you're giving people the choice. And choice will only come with information. That's my point, right? So if that happens and people really understand that I have a choice, you know, I have 6 children, I can hardly feed them. My messenger has 5 children. He can hardly feed them, you know.
Yeah.
And he can't stop it. I mean, the libido, whatever it is. So what are his choices? So that's what our laws, that is what our Constitution is giving us, a choice. And if the RH bill will give us that choice, I'm all for it.
It's informed
basically-
consent, essentially.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Information and choice.
Mhm.
Because
And-
of information.
Yes. And what's your perspective on there was a discussion a while ago about the size of the budget, gargantuan at 3 billion. But of course,
Chair, before we
yeah.
go to
Okay.
before we go to that, the budget, no, Ms. Patis mentioned choice. No?
Yes.
Yes, I agree that the family, the couple should have a choice, no. But in having choices, okay, the state should stay out of it. Because if there is already state compulsion in the form of law, then you are not giving the parties who would choose any choice. Because there's state compulsion already. There's a law.
What
See?
is the law making you do? I mean,
Well,
what's a compulsory thing
Yes,
there?
Well, the
From that
the
perspective.
compulsory thing is that all our health centers in the country would be supplied by condoms and contraceptives by the national government.
But that's still
and
the
the s-
choice of the people.
No, no,
whether
no.
they're going
But
to
the
do it.
state,
purchase them.
but the
Yeah.
state is promoting it.
Yeah, and they,
So the
there's
state,
expense in
should
purchasing.
not promote something if you would give people or the couples a choice, because you should not promote it.
Oh, I understand. I
So you
understand.
should be in the middle. You're the
Yes.
state, no?
Yes.
You should not come up with a law or a coercive measure like a law, and then you would say that you're giving the people a free choice. That's impossible. That's non sequitur.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
However, you're saying, the definition here is, the tyranny is in the definitions. It's in the details.
Yes,
The detail
yes.
is, it's provision, not promotion.
No, promotion.
Ours is provision. That's our perspective.
Well,
from a pro RH, I mean, because we are, in a sense, we might be promoting it by allowing people the chance
have access.
to have access,
Access
which
to
is
it.
provision.
That is state promotion.
That's what I mean.
That is state promotion.
Hindi, from your perspective, nga, you can't call it promotion. We are promoting the choice of the people.
No, by
to
experience.
be able to have that.
I was a mayor
choice.
before, Che. So
Oh, I understand.
by experience, by actual experience, it's a state promotion because the DILG would issue memorandum circulars left and
Yes,
right.
yes, definitely.
Okay, telling the municipal mayors, the local chief executives to implement
They
reproductive health ordinances. So there is compulsion. See? Now with that law, the compulsion becomes even more stronger.
But it's nothing like
So it's a
China,
state
like
promotion.
the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
the one
One
baby
child
thing, and
policy,
this
yeah.
woman has 2 babies and they forcibly aborted the baby.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Oh,
is it?
we're talking of a totally different issue.
No,
because
but see, the
But it's,
state has that too.
Yeah.
The
It has
state
the
of
power to do
China
that.
has the power to do it. Does our country have the power to do that?
Yeah, but the state does not have the right. No?
Because you're saying coercion, you're talking of these words.
Because a
And,
law
uh,
is coercion.
Coercion, promotion versus provision, and allowing people to have a say.
I don't see it.
If
I'm
it's allowed.
sorry.
Yeah.
I
I think
really
it's
don't
the,
see
the
it.
state
That's
or
the
the
tyranny of
government
the details.
That's right.
will be
yeah.
more helpful if it will be able to go deeper down and find the source, which means, for instance, instead of spending so much in the purchasing of these condoms and all this birth control paraphernalia, maybe they can just profile the population on who they can promote, and they see who the couples are within the age range that's ideal to procreate, and
think
then
they have.
physiologically normal couples and psychologically and psychiatrically okay.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Because even
Yeah.
if they are, normal or physiological normal, sometimes they don't
Yes.
have the psychological makeup to be able to raise. Because it takes not only physiological, our bodies are like machines, and we have to function normally just like a machine.
Yes.
And it means that you also have a deep pocket to be able to raise the children well, and to be able
Exactly.
to be emotionally mature and all that. So maybe the state will be more helpful if it can define the couples and just give a go signal on who the couples they will recommend to
Yeah,
go
that's-
on.
yeah,
That
too
will
much
be and
intervention.
without
No,
spending anything.
Actually, if the state has intentions
Yeah.
to promote something, no, like for example, free choices, no, or for example, curing the high incidence of prenatal deaths and post-abortion scenarios. I mean, as I have said, why not spend the money in hiring doctors or increasing the salaries of doctors so that they could provide their services for free?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
if food is the problem, then give food. Or if basic housing or health is the problem, then give food, shelter, or housing. But why will you give condoms and
Yes, I
contraceptives?
understand that Ms. Patis Desor actually hit the nail on the head when she said you have to provide that information. So basically, what we need is real education also.
If I get what you are saying, you want the money to go to doctors who will help people who already are buntis or whatever, and help them to abort it if
No.
post-abortion scenarios.
that's
No,
why
no.
post-abortion. So how can a doctor help
No,
post-abortion?
it's preventive. Preventive.
Well, that's exactly what-
Providing.
That's exactly what we're talking about. We're
Yes.
talking about that,
Yeah,
not to have it
exactly.
happen.
Yes.
So how do you propose
Yeah, so you
not to have it happen?
use the money. What I'm trying to say is use the money, our money well. Okay, use our money well. If the problem is food, then let's buy food. If the money is if the problem is money housing, then let's provide housing, but not condoms.
Yes, excellent. So now what we have is a very healthy discussion. So,
That's interesting.
however,
We are
That
we
is
are
so
again lacking
interesting.
time,
Okay,
and this is a very interesting
That
topic.
is so
that deserves,
interesting. Yes.
Yeah, more time, more episodes to feature. And so I'm sure, I hope you all got enlightened and, have been informed about our discussions. We hope to continue discussing topics like this in our upcoming episodes again. And so before we end, can we get some parting words again from first Ms. Patis? Would you-
Fashion.
Are we talking about fashion?
That's
We're talking about
fashion.
fashion.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope that the Philippines will not only be known for being a place to have a good time, but also to be a place where you can find homegrown crafts again, not only pineapple, but all the stuff that we used to do and can do and will do due to our population, due to giving work to so many people, and that we get known all over the world for this piña that we grow only in the Philippines.
Would you?
And, I would just like to say that if we want to help the poor, let's really help the poor. Let's focus all our efforts in helping them. And let's not use them as a reason to benefit personal interests.
There you go.
So with that, I'd like to invite everybody for next week. As usual, we had this is the very first time we had this lively discussion. It was very interesting. I hope you enjoyed it yourself. So see you next week.